Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. We're starting our weekly webinar, Trading Prospects, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. A special welcome goes to new people, of course, and I'll just explain in one sentence what we do here. What we're trying to do is create order and create kind of a plan for the upcoming week based on what happened, what might happen, what will happen. We'll go through some fundamental moments. We'll take a look at the charts for technicals. So we'll try to organize ourselves for the upcoming week and remove chaos from our trading. So as traders like to say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And that's what we're trying to do here. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading for almost 25 years. I started in June of 2000 as a prop trader in New York City. I did it for about 11 years, and then I moved to a different way of trading, started to mentor and educate others. And I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinars was set. We'll take a look at what happened, some fundamental moments. We'll take a look through some slides from the articles. We'll take a look at indices, stocks, commodities, Forex. We'll go through economic calendar and try to see what's waiting for us in the upcoming week. A risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com website. Of course, what we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, please feel free to subscribe and follow us on Telegram, X, which used to be Twitter, and YouTube. As I always say, my favorite. You have tons of information there being updated on a daily basis, including tutorials, educational material, webinars. We post all the webinars that are done at AvaTrade, so you can revisit, or if you missed the webinar, you can just relax and find your time to watch it and so on. Please subscribe, click on that bell on YouTube so you'll be notified, and feel free to share with others. And of course, if you do like it, do not hesitate to click that like button. Okay, before we go into the slides, as we know, it's been a positive week for the markets overall, and S&Ps on Friday were up 1.5%. And it's 9 consecutive winning days. It's the longest streak for S&P 500 since November 2004. And within this 9 session, S&P was up 10.2%. So it's a very solid move. It was triggered by a few things. There were some speculations that China and US are open to negotiation and softening the tariffs. Also, then we had the job data, which was surprisingly high. Everybody was expected in a way, the lower one based on the ADP data that came on Wednesday, but the numbers came 177 jobs added for US economy, and the estimate was 135,000. Unemployment remained the same at 4.2%. And of course, President Trump is still pushing his agenda for cutting the rates. He says no inflation, the Fed should lower the rates. And it's very contradictory. He says that the oil prices or gas prices went below $2, and some analysts posting that's way above $3. So it's not that clear. Of course, we'll find out if there any progress in tariffs negotiation. Also, on Friday, we had a very strong move on S&Ps. As we said, out of 500 stocks, 456 ended up in the positive territory. It's very, very strong. Apple, on the other hand, didn't do that great. Of course, the China tariffs put a little bit pressure. I'm just, trying to minimize it. Put some pressure on the company. The sales from China, Greater China, was 16 billion from January to March, and it was down 2.3% from a year ago, and 1 billion short of Wall Street estimates. Okay, and I'll show you the the slide in a moment about the Apple as well. So these are the things. Big picture, what's waiting for us this week, of course, we'll go through economic calendar, but the highlight of the week, of course, is the Fed's decision, which is almost to the zero probability of changes. But the press conference, as usually, followed the decision, and that's going to be on Wednesday. It's very important. So the analysts and market participants would like to know more details, what to expect in upcoming days, weeks, and months. Another interesting number. So Apple fell 3.7%, and it was bypassed by Microsoft. So Microsoft now is #1 company with 3.24 trillion in market cap, and Apple moved to the second spot, 3.07 trillion. Still a nice mark there, but Microsoft pushed Apple down and climbed to #1. Okay, as we said, we're going to watch that Jerome Powell's press conference and see how things are doing. Also, on the big picture, we have about 90 stocks out of 500 S&P 500 reporting. We'll take a look at a few of them, and we'll take a look at commodities that are winners and losers as usual. Okay, so here's the title. Stocks are back and economic data looks solid. Tariffs could spoil it all. Of course, China says they're open for negotiation. US also kind of open, but we didn't see any progress yet. So let's see if anything happened. We could actually add some tailwind to the stocks or equities in general. And if the opposite happens, we might actually sell. Here we go. Stock market winning streak, best in 21 years. That's what I mentioned a few minutes ago. Why it's looking fragile, and it's all about the tariffs, of course. A nice looking bull on Wall Street, right? Here's the Apple that I mentioned too. Apple's issues go deeper than tariffs as analysts worry about AI challenges. Apple stock was downgraded by both Rosenblatt and Jefferies on Friday, with the analysts citing Apple intelligence delays and tariff uncertainty. Okay, so as we saw, Apple was actually down on Friday, when most of the S&P 500 companies were up those earnings. Now, big news. It's not shocking. We were expecting that to happen. It was a meeting, a shareholders meeting from Berkshire Hathaway, and Warren Buffett announced that he's stepping down at the end of the year. And it's important to see things here because some investors are asking questions. So the audience erupted in applause for Buffett after 94-year-old legendary investor said that Greg A. Bell will be stepping into the role of chief executive for Berkshire Hathaway end of year. Buffett also expressed no intention, this is the key point, no intention of selling a single share of Berkshire, but said he may get given away gradually. Okay, so as we know, he said that before he passes away, he wants to share his wealth. So that's something to pay attention to. The decision to keep every share is an economic decision because I think the prospects of Berkshire's will be under Greg's management than mine, Buffett said. There may be a time when we have a chance to invest a lot of money, and if that time comes, I think it may be helpful with the fact that the board knows I've got all my money in the company. That's a very strong statement. By the way, Amazon CEO announced that within a year he's selling about 5 million shares. I could be wrong with the numbers, but he's taking some money out. Buffett received a standing ovation at the end of Q&A session. That's the news hook for the day. Thanks for coming, he said. Right, so now we know. I mean, it was expected, but he announced that he's remaining in the position till the end of the year. He's 94 years old. He did an amazing job, and now it's time for him to relax. I'm sure he's going to be involved somehow. Here are the Feds. By the way, you can find it if you just type in a browser CME Feds tool, and this is updated as of today. There's only 2.8% probability of the cut on the 7th of May. So the meeting, FOMC meeting, starts on Tuesday, the 6th, and the announcement and the press conference will be on the 7th, on Wednesday. So as of now, it's down, and as you could see here, it really changed after the strong employment data. A month ago, it was 33% probability. A week ago, 10% probability. And now after the FOMC, NFP numbers, sorry, the number went to almost zero, 2.8% only. So that's the situation as of now. Now, economic calendar, important to mention a few important things here. This is public information for those of you that are not familiar with this. You can access it on our web trader or the app, or just Google it. Like I said, there's a lot of sources to get it. Here I have high impact events only, as you could see, all in red. And the times here I chose GMT, kind of universal for everyone. You can filter through things. You can choose what's relevant for you. And definitely every trader should know the major things when and what's happening, so you don't want to be caught in a trade or miss the trade or whatever your style is. Monday, CPI numbers from Switzerland, service PMI from US. Tuesday, we have PMI numbers from China, employment data from Australia. Here comes Wednesday, retail sales from Europe, and here we go, the interest rate decision predicted to be 4.5 remaining. Fed monetary policy statement, and 30 minutes after that, we have the press conference. I've read a lot of things, and this one is very important because there's a lot of pressure on Powell from the president, and tariffs and unknown territory. That was the last thing he spoke when he spoke publicly. So let's see what we hear this time. Thursday, we have another interest rate from Bank of England. Here they expect to cut 25 basis points. We go same level, as you could see, 4.5 current interest on the Feds, US Feds, and the Bank of England. So the expectation is a cut of 25 or 0.25%. We have also minutes and rates and so on. So this is all one data, including the interest rate decision. Friday, we have Governor of Bank of England speaking a day after the announcement of the decision. We have employment data on Canada. Sometimes they report, or most of the time they report together with NFPs, but this time it's separately. And Saturday, we have inflation numbers from China, which is also important. So these are the things, again, to pay attention. These are the most important. There's so much more. Like I said, you can look through it and choose what's important for your trading. Now, commodities, the winners and the losers as tradition. We'll take a look at them individually when we get to the charts. And let's just take a quick look. Natural gas was up, bouncing from the previous week. This is for the week, right? The percentage gains and losing for the week. Natural gas up 5.4%. It looks like I'm dyslexic. Cotton up 4.11%. Wheat up 2.25%. Cocoa almost 2% higher. Palladium and copper both are 1.5% higher. And on the downside, we have crude oil down 145, gasoline 125, silver down 0.89%, and corn down 0.74%. So these are commodities that were winners and the losers for the past week. Okay, we're going to move to the charts now, and let's take a quick look. We start with indices. As usual, we start with China and see how China is doing in general. As you could see here, we had a nice bounce here when we had some rumors that things are getting better, together with the 90% or 90 days extension, but it wasn't affecting China, I guess. We had a nice correction from the recent high, and then Friday was a strong move up. We erased pretty much 3 previous days of losing. It's a strong sign here. Again, we have some data from China. We have speculations that they both US and China open for negotiation. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some deal that would benefit both sides, but that's just a speculation. I guess we'll find out very soon. The Japanese index had a very strong move to the upside recently from the recent lows. We bottomed on the 7th of April. Since then, we had the big move. This is the 90 days announcement correction. And since then, we're pretty much moving higher, approaching this key level from which we start selling at 37,388 approximately. So definitely going to watch. We had 3 consecutive big bars of candles to the upside. We might see continuation. We are between the 50 and 100-day moving average. We might retest this resistance that used to be support for a few days, and we'll be watching that. A strong move, strong energy for Japanese index Nikkei 225. US indices, as we said, a very strong day on Friday. We actually came to the level of that announcement on tariffs almost, right? And this is the very strong level that we kind of rejected back in November 2024. That's where we had the jump to the upside from this current level around 57.20, 57.25, and strong move. Take a look at the weekly chart, second consecutive week, and here you can see how we got to the 50-week moving average and confirming that support that became resistance later on. So we are pretty much at the very important strategic territory or levels here on the S&Ps. We could go either way, right? And this is the streak of 9 days to the upside. Here's NASDAQ. We are playing with this 20,235 level. If you look left, there's a lot of actions there. We didn't hit that. Actually, we did break above the 2nd of April. And if we continue higher here, we might retest the level here on the 26th of March. That's what the sell-off kind of started, right? So that's on NASDAQ. Dow Jones as well, we just broke above that high of the 90-day announcement. We broke above 50-day moving average here. We are between 50 and 100. So we continue watching this. By the way, one of the stocks that affects Dow Jones strongly, the United Healthcare, we need to watch. It's been weak. So if that stock bounces, it might get, it might add some positive energy to Dow Jones. Russell, the small cap, of course, lagging. We didn't break above this April 2nd, but the recovery is very, very nice. If you remember, we spoke, the Russell lost most of the money for a year and a half. And here on the weekly chart, it looks pretty good. On the weekly chart, we just broke this past week above the 200 weeks moving average. So let's see if we get more boost to the small cap index. Germany, a super strong recovery after this drop that tariffs related. We could be on the way to claim the all-time high. You could see here 4 consecutive weeks after a spike down here. Very strong move on DAX. I know a lot of traders are looking at DAX, so we can mark this level here, the high of 23,460. Let's see. 23,460 and a half. That's the level where we dropped from. And that was back 26th of March. So as you could see, for all the international indices, looks like German DAX looks the closest to the all-time high. Therefore, it looks the strongest. Here we go. The UK index, the FTSE also looks very, very strong. We broke above that tariffs announcement. We closed this gap from April 2nd. We are above all 3 moving averages here. Let's see what's waiting for us this upcoming week. Of course, we have the interest rate decision, so maybe it's already priced in. As you know, the lower interest, it's better for equities as money becomes cheaper to borrow. So maybe the move has to do with that priced in interest rate cut. That means if for some reason they don't cut, some or all would be disappointed and would drop from here. And if they do cut, the question is how much of it is already priced in? Will it be another push to the upside, or it's going to be a profit-taking kind of buy the rumors, sell the news kind of thing? Right? French index also looks strong. We are on the way. We just hit a 100-day moving average here, and we might be trying to close that gap here. So Europeans are very strong. S&Ps, as we said, 9 consecutive or 9 days move, the total more than 10% gains, and it's the biggest streak since November 2004. All right, I guess that's all with indices. We're going to move now to individual stocks, and let's actually start with Apple. As we saw, the market was strong on Friday, and Apple gapped down and stayed down, right? The report was on Thursday after the market, so it was already trading, opened with the gap and closed lower. So even the robust announcements and news and overall market move was higher. We can see there's a concern on Apple, and as we said, that some of the analysts actually downgrading Apple here, right? So we're going to pay attention if this is just the reaction, and then we'll catch up. And of course, if the market as a whole starts selling, Apple would be probably the first one to sell, as it looks like the weakest out of at least the big stocks on Friday when the market ran up, right? Microsoft had good earnings, a nice gap on Thursday to the upside, retracing a little bit on Friday, continuation. Take a look. We are on Microsoft's super strong recovery. If you remember, it's been the weakest out of the 7 magnificent stocks. And take a look, what a great recovery. Pretty much in one day, we covered a huge territory here. Friday, we covered the previous days, and closing at the highs 435. As we said, Microsoft currently is number 1, the champion, and the total market cap on Microsoft, let me just take a look. I forgot the number. I think it's 3.24 trillion. Let me just take a quick look. Sorry for the delay. Yes, Microsoft, as of closing on Friday, $3.24 trillion market cap, and Apple moved down to 3.07 trillion. Okay, so those are the major stocks. Now we have this week we have about 90 stocks out of S&P 500. I think last week there was 180. Today or this week we have about 90. So a few companies that I'm going to show you. You know, we can't go through all 90, but I'm sure you can find out whatever's relevant to you. And I'm going to show you a few stocks that are tradable on AvaTrade platform as well. Here we go. We have Vertex Pharmaceutical. It's a very strong pharmaceutical company. It's trading about $500 here. They are reporting on Monday. We have tech companies reporting on Tuesday, among them AMD, or Advanced Micro Devices. They are reporting on Tuesday. Let's take a quick look at AMD. It doesn't look that strong. As you could see, this is the daily chart. We kept on making lower highs, lower lows until here. I don't know if it technically turned around. We have a higher low followed a little bit higher than the previous high. So let's see. And we did close above the 50-day moving average. We're not going to guess. We'll find out. They are reporting on Tuesday. Another one reporting is Arista Networks. They're reporting as well on Tuesday. Here we clearly made a higher low, the higher high, covered actually the previous higher high here. We are way above 50-day moving average. We're on the way to possibly retest 200, and of course we'll see what the earnings are. The thing is that in general, a lot of companies reporting pretty good earnings, but the projections for the year are changing for the worst, and that's that's the concern the investors are having, and a lot of it, if not all, is related to uncertainty on tariffs, and that's the situation currently. We have Uber and Disney reporting on Wednesday. There's some positive news on Uber. They kind of teaming up with the self-driving company, forgot the name. Here we go, a nice recovery here from the 7th of April. We did just break the previous high here of February, closing at the highs. Uber is reporting on Wednesday, and so does the Disney, the World Disney, also reporting on Wednesday here. Also, it looks like we're trying to turn around. We had a nice move. This is the 90 days reaction of the market. And we just closed a little bit higher than that spike to the upside. So they are reporting on Wednesday as well. What's important, we still have here something that analysts are calling dead cross, when the 50-day moving average is below 200. So let's see how that plays out. So earnings, again, Uber and Walt Disney, Wednesday. We have also two major companies reporting. We have ConocoPhillips, the oil company, right? Here we go. Oil's been selling pretty much, and then we had a little recovery. And ConocoPhillips is reporting on Thursday. We are below all moving averages, 50, 100, and 200. And let's see what the earnings will do to the technicals here. And the last one that we'll look at it today, it's a Monster Beverage. Interesting name. Here we go. It looks very, very strong. I guess when there's a lot of uncertainty, and forgive me for my sarcasm, was there a lot of uncertainty, people turn to booze or alcohol. I don't know if it's the good thing, but I don't want to judge. But I'm sure the Monster Beverage is very happy. I don't know if they actually sell the alcohol or fresh drinks. I'm not sure. I'm just being funny here. So the stock looks very good. On the weekly chart, actually, we are trying to break through the previous resistance here. On the daily chart, it looks very, very strong, but we do have a double top here. So let's see what those earnings will do for Monster Beverage. All right, that's as far as equities. We're going to move to commodities now. I'm going to go back to MT4, and let's just go through them really quick. Let's go through the ones that had the biggest gains and then the biggest losses. So natural gas, a nice move this past week. Friday was a strong move, pretty much the whole week. After the gap, I think this was the new contract, and we didn't close the gap between the contracts. We continued higher. So that's natural gas, nice move. If we continue higher, this is the kind of connection of 50 and 100-day moving average here. And that could be our next checkpoint. Or we turn around and retest the 200. But as you could see here, a few days we traded above, very strong. Now, this is the level around 375 when we had a high recently. That happened on the March 3rd, 3325. And if we continue high, we might be retesting that, which kind of almost the same level as a 50 and 100-day moving average. So natural gas, nice move. If you take a look at the weekly chart, it's just first very strong candle here after 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and then doji here, and then we're trying to move higher. So it's a interesting territory here. Cotton, we had a nice move. Take a look at the daily chart. We erased 4 previous days of the sell-off in one session, and we're approaching the 200-day moving average here on cotton. Strong move. Let's see if it continues or it comes to retest the lows. Next one is wheat. We've been talking about wheat a few times, I think. We have a strong move, also erasing the whole week of lots of tails, closing at the high of the week. Wheat is up 2.25%, 2.26%. We almost hit that 50-day moving average here on daily chart. Let's see if we manage on Monday to break that high of Friday. Next one is cocoa. I mean, cocoa is an old story. We've been talking about cocoa for a long time, right? It has a tendency to make big moves. Here's cocoa. We had double top here after the sell-off, and Friday we closed above the 50-day moving average here. We're up almost 2% for the week. Let's see if that continues. It's hard to say. And just to remind us, people that are not aware, it's all connected to fundamentals, the shortage of physical beans that are being exported from West Africa, especially from the Ivory Coast. Palladium up 1.5%. We build a nice base here, and then 3 consecutive days to the upside. We are above the 50-day moving average here. It looks like we had some accumulation here or consolidation in the middle of this range. So we could be seeing move to the upside. And if that happens, first, we probably will retest this level here around 986, 987. And if we pass that, the next strong level from which was sold, the high here was 1008. So that's on palladium. And of course, copper had a nice move to the upside. For those that are not aware, copper is very sensitive to what's happening in China. So with this move on Friday from China, we actually had a move on copper. It's not just China, of course. The global markets went up. And after the huge sell-off here on Wednesday, we had a nice bounce on Friday. So copper up 1.5%. And on the downside, we go to crude oil. Crude oil, it's an interesting animal, as we call it. A lot of it to do with fundamentals, geopolitical situation, Middle East, Russia, Ukraine. Sometimes we hear news that are in favor of crude oil. Sometimes the opposite happened with the OPEC pumping, not pumping. A lot of unknown. That's why you could see a lot of spikes here up and down. As of now, we are retesting this previous low here. If you take the solid candle here on the 8th of April, the low here was 57.22. Just draw the approximate line here. On Thursday, we retested the low and the buyers came in. And Friday, we actually had the inside day pretty much. Not an inside day, but the opening and the closing were inside the Thursday's bar. So let's see what over the weekend situation will bring. Will it bring some positive news? Will it bring negative news? We'll find soon. Gasoline, which trades similar to oil sometimes. We had gasoline down also 1.5%. We had a sell-off from the beginning of the week. Thursday, we tried to bounce. We hit that 200-day moving average. Friday as well. And pretty much opening and closing Thursday and Friday is the same. So we're following the move down. So it's hard to say. We could be moving lower here. We could be doing the opposite. I think a lot of it to do with geopolitical situation and other things, global markets and everything else. So that's gasoline. Silver, a move down pretty much the whole week. Monday we started with a move up and then 4 consecutive days to the downside, stopping the journey right on 100-day moving average here, right? So let's take a quick look if we see anything relevant on Fibonacci retracement. Let's see. So if we take this whole move, we are right between 23 and 38%. So if we continue lower, we might retest that 38% retracement, and that would be right on a 200-day moving average, yes. Well, if we go back up, we might go retest. Also, we should be watching gold as it's kind of a big brother from silver, or mother or sister. I don't know how to call it. But silver, it looks like the downside pressure here. Let's see how we do when we get lower. If we go lower, or we might just move higher. As the whole move, it's normal, and the profit taking, it's also part of the process. And after profit taking, if conditions are still in favor to silver, we can make another leg to the upside as well. And corn also down 0.74%. We just closed below this strong candle to the downside on 28th of April. We tried to move and then we closed lower below 150-day moving average. We might continue lower here or not. And that's what we do here. We're not predicting, we're just trying to see what are the probabilities. And let's take a quick look at gold. We did break below this previous tails here. This is the daily chart. We had 3 consecutive days to the downside, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, we had a little bit of a green day. And let's see, we are approaching the Fed's decision with the press conference. We have more earnings. We have, first of all, the tariffs, which are very, very effective and makes the market very fragile and uncertain. So as we know, gold plays a big role of safe haven. So if more uncertainty and panic comes to the market, we might see more funds coming to the gold and moving higher from these levels. If the opposite happens and we back into risk on equity trading, we might see actually continuation down on gold, looking for support at some level of buyers coming in, or it could be a reversal and then everything is going to be great and peachy, and then we are going to run up. I'm just giving you scenarios. Okay, what we can do here is let's draw the trend line here. Let's see. So this is the trend line connecting the lows here. If we continue lower, at some point we might catch up with the trend line. Again, it's not in stone. It's just something that helps traders visually to kind of assume that certain things might happen. Okay, so I think that's all for commodities. We'll move to Forex and we'll start with dollar index. A lot of struggling here for dollar. We had a nice 3 days to the upside. Friday, we retested this level here, broke below Thursday's low, closing still lower on the day, but in up third of the previous day. So again, a lot of events. I don't want to repeat myself. Fed's earnings, tariffs. It's a lot of uncertainty for a lot of instruments, including dollar. Of course, euro dollar, other majors, just kind of a mirror image. We might continue lower here. We are above, extended the move, way above the moving averages here. British pound, as we know, that expectation for the rate cuts this week pushed it lower. We're trading below this strong candle to the upside. And if you remember, we draw this trend line at some point. We might be testing that. USD CAD sitting here, and that's something important to notice, that the longer we are sitting at the same level, the stronger usually the move is. The million-dollar question is which way, right? So here, the big move started back in November 2024, and it went all the way until we hit the resistance, and then we're channeling until we hit that tariffs, right? So a lot of accumulation here, a lot of consolidation here. Definitely we're waiting for that move. The question is which way, right? So that's on USD CAD. USD Swiss, after a nice recovery here, we are actually consolidating in the upper part of the candle, which could be considered bullish. As you could see here, we did try to get the stops here on Friday, and we retraced to the upside, closing within the previous candle. So definitely we'll be watching USD Swiss, just to remind us that we are at the historical level. We're still trading on USD Swiss on the level of 2011 here. So we had 3 consecutive months to the downside. We're still kind of down, almost flat on the month. So USD Swiss definitely worth watching. Dollar yen, of course, we did jump up from the previous resistance here, from which we made the lower low, and we are below all moving averages here. Let's find out what this week brings, of course, with the interest rate decision, Powell's speech, and other data. Aussie and New Zealand, they actually should be strong. Just to remind us, when we speak about China, 4 instruments are being affected. Usually, it's copper, oil, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar. As these 2 currency pairs are called commodity currencies, and they are highly affected by China because they supply and sell a lot of goods to China. As you could see here, we had a nice move breaking through the range here almost on Australian dollar closing above 200 moving average. Let's see if that's sustainable there. And New Zealand dollar as well is a strong day, closing above the previous level of resistance. Let's see if we manage to actually have a nice consolidation here and build a strong support for a next move higher, or the opposite. And take a look, the 50-day moving average is slowly approaching the 200 moving average. Maybe at some point they'll cross, and then will give traders another reason for possible buying. So that's as far as major currencies here. And for dessert, as usual, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. We did have a nice move in Bitcoin, breaking through that 95 mark, 95,000 mark. For the last 2 sessions now at the weekend, we tried to correct here. But as of now, we are above the 95,000, which if we sustain this move, we might be going and retesting the psychological 100K. And of course, the opposite could happen, that we go and retest the 90. And XRP, also after this strong candle here on the 22nd of April, we did have a few tails, kind of a liquidity surge, or taking the profits, or taking the stops out, and we're sitting right, not even a single besides this one, closing above, below the 50-day moving average. So it's very strong. After the strong move, an attempt to move higher, we actually saw it here and holding, currently trading at 218. Right, so that's on cryptos. All right, so let's just summarize things, right? Again, these are, if you want to take the screenshot, these are the commodities gainers and losers. We have Apple is the big loser among all the gainers for Friday, with S&Ps moving higher and having 9 consecutive, or I'm not sure if consecutive, but 9 sessions to the upside, probably consecutive, yes, if you take the cash index. And Microsoft moving to the first spot with $3.2 trillion. We have a great calendar here with major announcements here, with the Fed's interest rate decision press conference, interest rate decision from Bank of England, and other things. As we said, as of now, there's very slight probability of cut, almost none, and the whole attention is going to be to the press conference. All right. Please don't forget the social media. Please subscribe. Click likes if you do like it. Share with people. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell on YouTube. You'll be notified. I want to wish everyone a good weekend. Enjoy it. Spend some quality time with your loved ones. Get some energy, and prepare yourself for an eventful week. It's going to be a lot of actions. And of course, as usual, watch your risks, have a plan. Take care. All the best.